That bridge did not collapse.
Yes, the Enzo Bridge. It was a great Enzo Bridge collapse of 2034. And his last words, quoted by the news, was, "Sorry, it was cheaper this way."
Look, they were having a...
I want to go back for more stuff. What do you want? Mark 1 worked. So I left it. So what if some of the clamps broke loose after a few years?
It was buy one, get one free at Home Depot, all right?
On clamps? On clamps. And they're not even the good ones. They're this shitty little blue-handled Irwin.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know what you want from me. I used my veteran
Precisely
discount.
nothing.
My veteran discount. I got 10% off.
You're veteran.
Yeah.
What? From the wars of idiocracy of 1612 and the great mediocre theology of 1436.
Dude, you just had to have been there.
Uh-huh. And the Dunk revolt of the French populists. Uh-huh.
To quote a great Frenchman, fuck the French.
That would make him a great Frenchman.
Yes, it would.
No.
Yes, it would.
No. I have no comments. That's perfect.
Do you know what we're talking about today, Sam?
Something. Here on some topic.
That's what
I'm assuming it will be a topic and will be about something.
That is what we do.
It may be some topic.
Fred Rogers.
Fred Rogers.
Correct, sir.
We don't know the Duck Rogers?
I'm not familiar with Duck Rogers.
Okay.
This is Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Okay.
Fred was his first name, apparently.
Mr. Rogers. Rogers.
You never watched that? He's up there for all time, you know.
Is this like a
It's like our Bill Nye.
O.J. Simpson thing?
No.
Where like I slightly recognize the name, but not really?
No, Mr. Rogers is the guy who always wore the sweaters, and he'd...
Oh, Mr. Rogers. Gotcha. That Rogers.
He's up there with...
I'm talking about a real person here.
I mean, he was a real person.
I mean, the actor was really acting, yes.
Okay. Fred Rogers, what he got right, what he got wrong, and how his lessons hold up today. So this is kind of the ongoing series of
kind of like Bill Nye and everything else, yeah. What did Mr. Rogers didn't teach science or math or anything, did he?
Life lessons. We're getting there.
Yeah, like carpentry?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. For anyone who...
Honestly, I did not watch him. I'm asking what the fuck he taught you guys.
Apparently not.
Was this like in like a school session?
This was...
Or like VHS? Or like... Was this like PBS?
I think it was PBS.
Okay. Okay. So entertainment.
Yes.
Okay.
So for anyone who grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you know the feeling. The gentle guitar strum, the soft-spoken voice, the cardigan slowly zipped up. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, wasn't loud, flashy, or explosive like some of today's TV hosts. He was quiet, patient, and deliberate. And yet his show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, became one of the most enduring and culturally significant programs in American television history. Kids didn't just watch, they felt seen. The question today is how much of Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' lessons about kindness, emotional intelligence, EQ, and childhood development still hold up in a world of TikTok, instant gratification, and high-stakes parenting. Some of his advice feels timeless, though other aspects of his show, pacing, simplicity, or approach to social issues might seem quaint or overly cautious now. Even so, there's a reason his persona has endured. Mr. Rogers wasn't trying to entertain for entertainment's sake. He was teaching humans how to be humans. That makes him the perfect podcast material of what we're trying to talk here. Just like Bill Nye, I'm just trying to dispute, hey, what was right, what was, a little misguided, and what else.
So you really want me to say some outrageous things then? We're talking about convoluted morality here.
Sure.
Nice. Okay.
We can talk nostalgia, educational impact, and whether his methods could or would work with today's children.
My house is getting egged after this.
Oh, it sure
My
is.
house is getting egged.
It sure is.
Great.
So, do you remember anything about Mr. Rogers other than the?
Not a lick besides what he looks like. It was the red sweater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, no. I know the ongoing, meme existence of Mr. Rogers. The whole joke of him being some type of special forces during Vietnam or something stupid like that. And then, of course, obviously, I know the vague stories of him being just one of the many different CIA plants back then in Hollywood and in the news and in the media. But besides that, I don't actually know anything. I've never seen any of the episodes.
So I actually picked a good one then. Well, I was going to ask, what was your first memory of watching Mr. Rogers? But somebody didn't do their fucking homework.
Actually, I do have my first memory. It was Kenny Rogers.
Oh,
Yes. I believe it was.
Was that the son of one Mr. Fred Rogers?
No. I hope not. Because I think there would be some time travel involved. But either way, Kenny Rogers, he was another comedian from back during that era, and he did a spoof on Jackass for like 2 spin-off episodes. I don't know if he had like a reality show or a late night show or something like that.
My name's Kenny Rogers.
And this is Jackass. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The title of the episode, my name's Fred Rogers.
Uh-huh. 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 So my earliest memories of him are the simple fact of I've seen every parody of him possible.
Yeah.
Prof. Squad goals.
Guy math. Another episode.
Fantastic. Well, no, that was probably the first time I saw Mr. Rogers. Like, realistically. No. Was a music video by Prof.
Oh.
For the song
Who the hell is
Squad
Prof?
Goals. Don't worry about it.
Wonderful.
But that's how I know what Mr. Rogers looks like what the set looks like,
Interesting.
the TV set.
Okay.
Because obviously they modeled the music video set after the Mr. Rogers TV set.
I think you're supposed to get the reference when you've seen the original. Okay. Doesn't matter.
Oh, dude, there's probably all sorts of Easter eggs that I wouldn't understand, in how they decorated things.
That is pop culture.
Yeah. Welcome to it.
So, Fred Rogers' origins as a minister, musician, and a television pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Rogers started as a Presbyterian minister and an early television producer in Pittsburgh. He had an unusual combination of skills: theology, music, and media production.
Reset here. Yeah. Reset. No. Because I just went on a tangent about knowing all the stupid, whispers of him being either CIA or Special Forces or whatever. And here you immediately go. And not only do you start off with he had a particular set of skills, but then you also started with, what was the first thing you said about him?
He's a Presbyterian minister.
Yeah. So he's a fucking chaplain. Chaplains fucking stack bodies, bro. Yes, he was definitely in special units.
Stay tuned.
Did some shit. There's no way.
Stay tuned for part 2 of Mr. Rogers.
So,
Unrated.
The unclassified.
So before Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he worked on the Children's Corner, where he developed his style of slow, calm storytelling, talking directly to kids as though he was speaking one-on-one. His approach was considered revolutionary at a time when children's programming was dominated by slapstick, fast cuts, and loud commercials. Rogers created a safe, steady, and nurturing space. He also composed music for the show himself, reinforcing lessons with gentle and melodic.
Melodic?
That word.
I mean, it was either that or Madonna. 50-50 shot.
The gentle Madonna storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Damn right, baby. Her hips don't lie.
The combination of ministry.
I don't know, it's Sierra, but still.
That's Shakira.
Same difference.
You're right. This combination of ministry, music, and media gave him credibility and authenticity that resonates even today. Rogers' calm demeanor and attention to children's emotions weren't just personality quirks. They were deliberate, evidence-informed decisions. He studied child development extensively and even testified before the U.S. Senate in 1969, famously defending public television funding and explaining the emotional needs of children.
I do remember that, actually, now that you mention it.
Do you?
I remember vaguely hearing something about how Mr. Rogers was pivotal in some kind of Supreme Court hearing during something. But that would make sense.
Okay. So he was a minister.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that background influenced his slow, methodic teaching style? His
talk to idiots.
Okay.
What congressional leader? Well, I shouldn't say congressional, not Congress, but what leader of your Congress of people, of your church following, isn't good at talking to idiots? Because you have to be able to speak to the lowest common denominator.
Okay.
It probably also means that he had to talk to children all the time, because there was probably a lot of adults bringing the trouble child up to him and saying, now you explain to so-and-so, blah, 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 you're going to go to hell, blah, 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 blah. So he probably had to get good at talking to children relatively directly in front of parents, while also saving the child from the ridicule or the punishment that the parent is attempting to do, while still explaining things so a child understands, without the parent realizing he's basically saying, your mom's just being a bitch. Take a breath, you're okay. Only say that stuff around your friends.
So make it simple.
Yeah.
So do you think that his style...
stupid. There's a reason.
Isn't there an acronym for that?
Yeah, KISS. KISS.
Oh, yeah. I knew that.
Smooches.
Not the band with the long, freakishly pink tongues.
No, they go together sometimes.
I could see it.
There's a time and place.
Do you think modern shows could mimic his approach on television?
No.
Why not?
Too much politics. Too much of the whole undercurrent psyops bullshit that everybody's trying.
Here's what Fred got right. Emotional intelligence and childhood development. Rogers was a pioneer in teaching emotional literacy. He openly discussed feelings like anger, sadness, and fear, something that was extremely rare on television at the time. Episodes covered divorce, death, conflict, and even hospitalization.
Divorce?
Mm-hmm. Which is...
Ooh, yeah, that wouldn't fly today.
No, not in the slightest.
That would not fly today. Like, it should. Like, don't get me wrong. It needs to be, and it should. But there's no way on earth these people would ever allow that shit to get on TV. Heaven forbid you offend someone with divorced parents. Well, that's just marginalizing divorcees. Well, how about you don't tear your family apart? Take your vows seriously. Don't marry a fucking idiot.
Or don't...
Or, keep your legs closed.
Or wear a rubber.
No. Keep your fucking legs closed. Goes both ways.
Yeah. Two-way street.
I don't give a fuck about a rubber. That's common sense. If you want to risk STDs, that's on you. Mm-hmm. Keep your fucking legs closed. Rubbers can break.
Correct. They can.
And if not, then shut the fuck up about it. You no longer matter.
Well, yeah.
You're that child's parent. You're not even yourself anymore. You are now so-and-so's mom or dad. You don't get a right to personal existence.
Wise words. So he gave children the language to process complex emotions, which in this day and age is very hard to do, right? And it was a radical departure from the just smile and move on mentality common in kids' media. He emphasized kindness, empathy, and community. Characters like Daniel Tiger and Lady Aberlin modeled caring behavior, while Rogers' direct commentary taught children that their feelings mattered, right? Decades of research now show that emotional literacy, EQ, is linked to better social outcomes, resilience, and mental health. Meaning Fred Rogers was decades ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of, hey, this is just common fucking sense. Take your emotions seriously, process them. Obviously, there's a time and place for them.
Oh, I won't even say it's decades of, let's call a spade, and an apple. He was absolutely the pioneer. But it wasn't decades. Something would have came around about that time. Because think about it. That was the time of free expression. And that was the time of freedom of press. And that was the time of freedom of speech.
Well, he created predictability in his programming.
Mm-hmm.
The same opening, the same songs, and the same pacing. These routines help children feel secure and prepared, which psychologists argue supports brain development, emotional regulation, and attention span.
You have to have consistency among developing children.
So, in short, I think that Mr. Rogers did it right. He made TV a tool for mental and emotional growth, not just a distraction like you see on TikTok or Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever fucking small 10-second.
That's despicable Sesame Street.
God, fuck.
Here they bring in that Asian bird.
Asian bird?
He's yellow.
Oh. He's Siamese.
No. Don't put that on him. Don't disrespect the Siamese. Siamese normally are relatively attractive.
I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it. So, do you think kids today need emotional literacy lessons more than ever?
God, yeah. Simply like that. I apologize because I'm not going to give you good material for like a 5-minute interruption and discussion here because just fuck yes. It's as simple as that. It has been entirely ignored. We have focused so much on #MeToo or #LGBTQZYZ ultra
alphabet soup.
I don't know. No, like throwing some like sines and cosines and whatever else in there.
That's math.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
like numbers now.
But that's what it's feeling like to the rest of us. It has gone from we have as a society neglected emotional development and mental health so much to where now there was a brief window of a good like 5-ish years where we started to have at least conversations. And at least we got rid of the overwhelming stigma of therapy for children and things like that. But then the whiny crybabies, as they always do, whined and cried.
Yeah.
And so we gave them the affection, assuming that those groups needed it more. And now here we are, having dumped in basically a decade of extra time, effort, money, and wasted affections onto groups that never needed it in the first place. Mm-hmm. And we have neglected our own children by telling them, oh no, ignore yourself, prioritize group identity. So in summation, fuck yes. Yes. Just yes.
That's a very fuck yes tangent.
Yes.
So do you think his style could influence parenting today?
Well, I'm giggling because I'm immediately just thinking of all the fucking YouTube shorts you would start to see of just horrible mothers whining and complaining and talking about how he's sexist and how it's somehow racist and how it's somehow against single moms. And like, I promise you, somehow it would become a socioeconomic disparity issue.
Makes sense.
Like, so I would really love to see it. But anyways, that's why I'm giggling. I'm thinking of the fallout.
If you didn't have a child
# pet boys.
Oh boy. If you didn't have a child who is essentially spoiled and actually knew what he had and how lucky they are in this generation not to have the basic, there's not a lot of war that we see, at least in the States. There's not a lot of...
Ooh, that's...
You don't think so?
No, that's kind of touching on a whole different thing, because I agree, but I don't think you... Not you, specifically. When I say you, well, common man. I don't think the common man really understands the depth of that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And to the degree that it has really... It's put us on a knife's edge. We're teetering right on that edge as a nation. And unfortunately, that also means we're kind of teetering on that edge as a Earth, as a planet. Yeah, so we can get into that tangent if you want. But my boy.
All right. So this is what Fred got wrong. Limitations critiques.
Okay. Uh-huh. Yep.
As famous as we are for tangents.
Right back. Continue.
Some critics argue that Rogers' pacing and style might be too slow for modern children who are accustomed to rapid visual stimulation. In today's YouTube and TikTok environment that I was kind of hinting at earlier, would a half hour of calm reflection hold attention? Some development psychologists suggest that over-reliance on slow media could limit exposure to more interactive or challenging contents. Additionally, Mr. Rogers was careful, perhaps too careful, when addressing social issues. While he tackled some hard topics, there are critiques that he shied away from explicit discussions of race, system inequality, or gender identity beyond gentle messaging. Which, yeah, but
Well, also he knew ahead of time. If you want to kill his entire movement and all the progress he's made, address those things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, what is a line that any extremist, be they religious or political, can then come in and say, oh no, let's make this exclusive. Yeah, so good on him for avoiding it. He's not wrong.
yeah.
Wish he could have. I would have loved to see it.
In a modern context, his programming, so the TV show itself, may have felt sanitized or limited compared to more direct educational content. Finally, Rogers' emphasis on one-on-one attention and calm reflection may have unintentionally created an idealized version of childhood, right? While it offered comfort, it didn't always prepare kids for the messy realities outside of the neighborhood. His approach prioritized emotional safety over exposure to complexity.
Well, that's what the parents should be doing.
Correct.
He doesn't know where you live. So his advice for your child probably wouldn't work for the other child. Now, emotional growth is relatively universal.
So let me ask you this. How would you update his style for modern audiences?
So prefacing with the fact that I don't know his style because I've never seen this shit.
Well, I described so you have an idea.
From the gist of the internet ethos and from what you've described so far, what he would need to change today?
Or what should he add?
Add,
subtract. At this point, I would say
nothing. He'd have to go on a warpath and just go scorched earth for one season that he doesn't release until it's fully complete and done and released.
Really?
And then he would just have to weather the storm. And it would be a long-term thing. Either that made enough waves with the present generation that's at the rebellious stage, where they're always going to do the opposite of what the norm is for society at the time.
Okay.
And then, boom, magically in about 7 to 10 years, we start to see a lot of changes as a country. Fantastic, wonderful, as that generation becomes acting adults and members of society. But it would just be that. It would be the long game. Because you can see it. iPad kids, dude, they can't focus for more than 5 seconds. It's like laser training your dog. They always say never use lasers around puppies because you'll make them reactionary. And then you'll ruin their ability to focus and train. It's the same shit with kids.
Really?
The more that we have... So I've noticed something. Because I go back and forth with removing social media and adding it, removing it and adding it, whatever.
Yeah.
I have noticed that if I spend any amount of time on shorts or reels, and this has been true... I want to say ever since I've had a cell phone, but like distinctly true ever since like post-high school. As an adult, I can even notice this. And it's like a day-to-day thing. If I look at reels at all, for like the next 24-ish hours, my body's like, hey, where's the dopamine? We're supposed to have an easy hit. Hey, why am I thinking for more than 10 seconds? Why do I need to pay attention to what somebody's saying for more than 3 seconds? So it's very real. It's pattern recognition. It's training. Again, how are we wiring our brains? Are we wiring our brains for long-term thinking and logical thought processes, or are we wiring our brains for faster response times? That's what it really comes down to. Especially with first-person shooters and video games, I'm sure you can spot it just among the few friends that you know and everything else that you've known throughout how they were raised, kids that were spoiled and had video games and everything else and their mental abilities, to more or less how they've functioned as close to adulthood as you know them now.
I like to have the opinions of others. So I think at this moment it would be a good thing to at least have our viewers comment in the sections where they can, wherever they're getting this episode.
Whatever comments you have, comment them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Comment your comments.
Wherever in the comments they comment.
So this is Deep Dive Critique.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 3. The bin giveth and the bin taketh away, usually depending on pickup day. I need to address a structural issue within the intern nutritional program. We refined caffeine protocols, we've implemented recovery measures, but one variable remained unstable: baseline nutrition. You can't build sustained performance on coffee and regret alone. You can optimize spikes, you can mitigate crashes, but if the system is depleted, you mistake stimulants for sustenance. Performance wasn't just chaotic, it was inconsistent. That's when we introduced Zevo Life. It's a patented microalgae designed to support steady energy, digestion, and overall vitality, helping your system operate consistently instead of constantly compensating. Packed with essential amino acids, vitamins A, B12, E, and K, antioxidants, minerals, and bioactive compounds, all within a single teaspoon. It's not stimulation, it's foundation. We added it to the intern's daily allocation, and the Intern Nutritional Authority has adopted it into long-term protocols. You can get 30% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at zevo.life. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon gazing into the future through a rearview mirror, we'll tell you plainly, the show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just upgrading your nutrition, you're reinforcing the structure that carries you through life's impacts. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for investing in the long game. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 1. In the beginning, the trash was without form and void, but raccoons saw that it could be organized.
Rogers' 1969 Senate testimony is often cited as a highlight of advocacy, though it also reveals something different. He carefully curated every message. While effective, it raises question about gatekeeping in educational content. Who decides what children are ready to hear? He also had a tendency to simplify for impact. Concepts like fear, sadness, or anger were presented like gentle reassurance, though sometimes without a roadmap for action or problem solving.
Well, how much can you fit in a 20-minute episode?
Well, that's true. Modern
and which culture? Because you don't want to step on religious traditions or cultural practices for processing these different things.
And how much of it was influenced by his Presbyterian background? No, I'm not too familiar.
No, how much did he not want to be influenced by it?
Well, that's true.
Because he only knows one perspective.
And I don't know much about Presbyterians to comment on that.
And who knows how much control the studio had over him.
That's true.
You know, it's a little bit before the time of everybody pretty much accepts and assumes that everything's crooked and corrupt and dirty and everything's manipulated by everything else nowadays. But back then, there was a little bit of integrity to it. So
yeah,
they would have just simply been able to cut a few episodes, not control everything. So I think, all in all, he probably accomplished as much as he possibly could have.
For the time or for his capabilities?
Well, both. His capabilities were limited by the times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think...
So he did, like I said, he did everything he could given the times.
Okay.
You know.
So modern critics,
Or he might have been a lazy piece of shit and he had some really good writers. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it could absolutely be the exact opposite, that this dude just happened to be a talented actor, and whoever the writers and producers for the show were happened to just be that genuine and heartfelt. You know?
I mean,
Who the fuck knows?
I don't fucking know. I wasn't there.
I bet Barney knows.
He would know. So, modern critics note that Rogers' programming doesn't challenge children's critical thinking in the same way that newer educational shows do. While he excelled at social and emotional learning, there were fewer lessons in logic. I don't know. I remember growing up with... There was a computer show. I forget the name of it, and I'm really trying to think of it.
You're fine.
It was... Fuck, it was...
Probably not codenamed Kids Next Door.
No, fuck no. That was good.
I couldn't watch it. It had too much violence in it.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
It ended really shittily, too.
Did it?
So, number one, spoilers, number one goes off into space to join the space Kids Next Door.
Oh, no.
And
I've been watched all of them when the second I got access to a computer and the internet.
Oh, like, it just, I wanted to see what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, no, fuck you. And then his father was number two.
You know, speaking of TV shows, you know what I'm super excited about? They're coming out finally with season 3 of The Record of Ragnarok, the animated series on Netflix.
Oh,
finally!
Thank God.
I have been waiting. So, like Bakihama, and I don't know, shows like that, and this one, and those type of like fighting culture arena styled shows. I have.
It was called Cyber Chase. That's what it was called. You remember that?
Never seen it.
Oh, continue. I'm sorry.
So I'll explain why I've never seen most of these things in a moment. But anyways, I don't know. I'm just fucking excited. It has my favorite art styles, and how they do their sequencing in their fight scenes is so fantastic. And then they also embrace some of my favorite parts of just anime, which is how much they exaggerate stupid shit.
Yep.
So Aphrodite's tits, nice way in Paris, right? No matter what's going on in the background, there could be hurricanes, and you see the entire audience flying around in storms, and her tits will be perfect and just stationary. But then Zeus will be giving a speech, and you'll see her tits just gently bouncing and swaying in an invisible breeze. It's just, it's all the little things, and the drama, you know, where kind of like soccer players, you flick them, they fall down, and make a big scene. Well, it's that for every interaction of emotional response or anything in anime. So anyway, this show is just one of my favorites in general. And I was so sad for so many years when I never heard of them even making a third one. Well, I don't know who wins. Like, we're down to the final 10, I think. Or is it the top? Or is it the semifinals, I think.
I think it's like
I think we're in the
there's
semifinals.
2 fights for every season. 2 or 3.
Well, it was
Jack the Ripper was the last one, I thought.
Well, no, there's not 2 fights for every season. There's 2 tiers to the tournament for every season. I thought.
No. So it's not tiers. It's you have to have so many wins, and then mankind.
Because it's a battle for humanity.
Correct.
You know, it's deciding whether they eliminate or don't, and they have to slightly win by the majority. You know, it's like that's out of 7 or whatever, right?
It's out of 7, but you have to win majority. And right now, the humans are coming back, and now it's like equal.
Right.
So
you're right. So it was only 2 fights because I was thinking of all the different flashbacks and all the different blah blah blah.
Because
the Jack the Ripper fight was arena style.
It was against Hercules. I'm like,
the Ripper fight was fucking. Either way, sorry. So circling back to television.
So Cyber.
Okay, explain it to me.
Cyber Chase was all about essentially the digital age. You had viruses, malware, all that type of BS, and it just kind of showed you like stranger danger in the modern world, right? So I was used to growing up with that.
When was that out?
Dude, this was when I was like 7 or 8, and I think it was reruns.
When were you? Like, what years were those?
I have no idea.
Roughly.
I'd have to look it up from the...
So, the reason I haven't seen so many, like, common pop culture things is a combination of 2 factors. Number one, it was at that time where, like, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and all that shit was, like, super popular, and it was the the novel series was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hated people. And so I purposely would just not read or watch any of those because of the reactions that everybody would give me of, oh my God, you haven't seen that, so you must be a Lord of the Rings person. It's like, nope, ain't seen that either. It's like, oh my God, now I don't know how to hate you. And so part of it was that. The other part was I just wasn't allowed to watch TV until like middle school. Like we would watch like Saturday cartoons.
Yeah.
And we would watch like Shrek movies and family movies and shit like as a family. But in terms of me being able to just sit down and watch TV, no, it wasn't allowed.
I remember watching a lot of like PBS and I think I watched a lot of Power Rangers and.
You see, I never watched that, but everybody around me did. So I don't know what I was like, not missing, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know what I was missing or why. I never watched any of this stuff. Let's be real, I was a child. There's no way I wasn't consuming content.
You might have, because
I might have just been working.
Your background is a lot more practical.
Well, that's what I mean. I might have just been working, like chores and stuff.
So what I meant by my earlier comment is that it was, you start to get towards more of the digital age, and you start to get towards more of the series or the movies where you're starting to see it as in there are ways of communicating as a child.
Mm-hmm.
You can now do Snapchat, you can do Twitter, you can do Instagram, you can do Facebook.
Well, now you can.
Well, yeah.
But during our age, it was the birth of the internet.
And you have you didn't know any better, and the TV shows were all about stranger danger.
Right.
And that got shoved down our fucking throats.
Right. Well, that was the era of you're going to get kidnapped and raped all the time.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we frown upon that.
No.
We don't frown upon
it. So we frown upon the act of kidnapping and raping, yes, but I don't frown upon teaching it. It needs to be expressed more, I think, nowadays, with how often all these dumb bitches are just flying off to meet dudes. Well, I mean, come on.
Well, now it's OnlyFans, and it's this, and it's like
that's not child related. That's different.
Well, correct.
I mean, those activities often introduce children to this world, but
correct. So, another question I've got is, Mr. Rogers simplified complex emotions. So, is that helpful or limiting to a child growing up?
So helpful. So here's how you have to see it.
It shouldn't be complex?
No, but which one is it? Are you expecting a TV show to raise your child? Or are you giving up and yielding because the child needs some manner of entertainment, so why not make it something that at least gives a baseline to open the conversations that you should be having with your own child? If you're not teaching your child how to handle these things, you are failing as a parent. And you can look around yourself today, and listeners, you can look around your own selves, and I promise you can spot tons of these people around. And if you can't, look at your own parents. Warning, warning.
You know what Jordan Peterson said once?
Huh.
He gave the exercise of just sit on your bed and just for 60 seconds, I think, or whatever, some prolonged amount of time, just think about, just shut up and think. And
is 50 seconds prolonged?
Prolonged in the sense of,
or just some set time.
Some set time.
Okay. Either way.
Really, what it is sit with yourself and see where you're fucking up, right? So it's almost like this exercise is to get a person to get in tune with where they are mentally, where they are emotionally, and just see where
so if you don't simplify these things to children, and if you don't give them a really, really straightforward roadmap, then you're leaving them without tools, and now they're simply victims to their own emotions, and they are now being controlled and dictated. Instead of saying, hey, these things are complicated, they'll come out of nowhere, but when they do, here's what you should probably handle it. Here's what you do until you're able to get to mom and dad and talk to them.
Yeah,
I'm all for that stuff. But again, to try to then, as we're looking back, so the way you phrase that question of, well, we're at work today, and what did this thing? Well, number one, we're looking on things with, retrospective glasses on.
Yeah, of course.
And number two, are you watching the show because you expect it to raise your child exactly how you want it to?
Well, even nowadays, it's almost like
parents nowadays will let an iPhone raise their child.
Well, yes, even an iPad, because How fucking easy is it just to give your energetic kid an ADHD is at an all-time fucking high for
Again,
diagnosing their whatever. I know.
using laser pointers on your children.
Correct. And all
Give them a shiny fucking iPad with a screen that has brightly colored fishies swimming around on it. They will never be able to focus.
I agree with you. It's getting to the point where
Take them to a real stream where they can touch the water.
and they can catch a fish.
I would be impressed and proud.
And it's gotten to the point now where there isn't two parents raising a child. And they're not even like in one parent raising a child, however many children there are, it is so much harder for whatever parent, whether it's a father or mother or God.
Here's the really shitty thing about where we are nowadays in terms of mankind's existence, where technology is, where our documentation practices over the last couple of decades have gotten us, and everything else. The fact that information is so freely, widely, and immediately accessible all over the world kind of complicates that issues and fucks it up for us.
Yeah.
What was the exact phrasing of your statement again?
I'd have to rewind it. As far as it's hard for one.
So,
Like it takes a village to raise.
well, so it fucked us up because now we're in a position where we have the numbers, we've had studies, we've had decades of results for this stuff, and people don't like the results. So we might get a lot of smack for this, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. Brace yourself, Nikolai.
Oh boy. Me batten down the hatch, button up my.
I might just send a memo to the raccoons in legal and let them know.
Oh boy.
Children raised by single men, assuming the man is a functional member of society, meaning not a felon, has a job, is a normal operating adult. They oftentimes, don't get me wrong, nothing compares to a two-parent household, one man, one woman, as it always should be. And again, those are playing the roles of man and woman. I don't care what your actual biology is. Fuck off. It's just words. For one man playing the role of man, one woman playing.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 2. Verily I say unto thee, one's worth is not in what they throw away, but what they are willing to dive back in for. I need to address an issue regarding the unpaid interns. While overall productivity has improved, there's a recurring decline following what they described as after-hours research. Translation, excess beverages were consumed. The next morning metrics were predictable. Cognitive clarity, compromised. Regret index, elevated. Sunlight compatibility, low. That's when we implemented liqueur gummies. They're formulated with DHM, which helps your body process alcohol, along with milk thistle, B vitamins, electrolytes, and ginger root to support recovery and hydration. You enjoy your evening, you support recovery. You wake up to regret your decisions with a clear head and a settled stomach. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at liqueur.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a kaleidoscope attempting to intuit your future by reading tea leaves, we'll warn you. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just protecting tomorrow, you're supporting the continued operational stability of the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your patronage. I need to give a brief update regarding the unpaid interns. For last fiscal quarter, their caffeine habits were entirely self-funded through dumpster-based nutrition and used coffee grounds rescued from the trash compactor behind the local prison. As you can imagine, results were inconsistent. Archival accuracy, unstable. Claw precision, questionable. Midday existential collapse, guaranteed. It was a difficult quarter. But that ends today. We've transitioned the entire intern program to Strong Coffee Company. Their black blend has 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha and L-theanine. So instead of spike and crash routines, it's a sustained focus. The results speak for themselves. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, it might as well pull its weight. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at strongcoffeecompany.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a mason jar instead of a magnifying glass while searching for mythic relics buried in a landfill, we'll tell you plainly. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So if you grab some, you're not just upgrading your coffee. You're funding structured nutrition for the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your service.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 4. Remember, cleanliness is next to loneliness. Seek the comfort of clutter.
And the role of woman, or vice versa, I don't give a shit. Either way, one man, one woman. Those households, by far, always raise the most healthy, well-balanced children because there is balance. Children see both sides, and there's two parents, and there's two stories, and there's two sides to everything. And together, the kid sort of kind of starts to understand the weird muddledness that is existence in life. When you have one parent, men tend to do better at the basics, and better at analytical thought and logical thought. While those children will be emotionally stunted to some extent without therapy or without some kind of motherly presence in their lives, they will be functional members of society, and 9 times out of 10, they're not fuck-ups. Those raised by single mothers, exact opposite. You are almost always fucked up. Very well emotionally developed because all you did was manipulate and learn how to do so.
Sounds about right.
Raised by an emotional mother. Yep. So again, it's the single-parent household in general needs to end. It is a horrible sickness. But saying that, that is not any spite against single parents. That is a spite against the cultures and traditions that we as a nation have allowed these companies and media sources to develop for us. Because what makes more money? A fantastic nuclear family with one account for everything?
Yep.
Or 4 separate people? And one of them actually has 2 accounts because they don't want you to know about the other one.
Well, but let me ask you this. Does emotional literacy outweigh the cognitive challenges in importance? So what I mean by that is
Nope.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to the whole, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You have to learn the basics, and you have to learn how to function.
Correct.
If you don't, I don't care how emotionally well developed you are, you're fucked. You'll be able to handle it really well, but you're fucked. You'll smile the whole way through it, but you're fucked. So, don't get me set wrong. And this kind of brings us into that other overarching generational discussion of where we are as a country right now. We have had a few separate generations now, back to back to back to back, of near perfect peace and harmony worldwide. We've basically kept the wars to the Middle East, which are always cesspools and full of war anyways, because they're all contested countries.
Sure.
And it's all contested land, and it's basically lawless. So we have gotten so comfortable now, and we've had the luxuries of being able to focus on mental health and being able to focus on emotional development and fortitude, that we've almost ignored and shunned everything else. Which is fine. It's natural. It's normal of learning any new skill for any person or species or group. You say, hey, this is the new thing. Look how great we are at it. We're fantastic. You suck. Fuck off. We're number 1. Welcome to being competitive. You're a human. Fantastic. But but we've left all of the rest of it behind.
Yeah.
And it's This is what puts us on that knife's edge, really. What would happen tomorrow if, again, it doesn't need to be a nuke. It doesn't even need to be an attack on our electrical grid or our utilities. What if they just, I don't know, turned off the cell towers?
That'd be fucked. Because
you realize how destabilized this country would be overnight?
A lot.
Like, I'm not talking about businesses or growth. Like, let's just stick with the emotional health thing here. Do you really?
I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of wake-up calls, and a lot of it is going to come down to now you have to face the music, and the music being yourself.
Yeah, which I can't say we all know. Anybody who's had to rebuild themselves or who has taken the time to look introspectively and attempt to fix the things that they found incorrect in themselves. Well, if you've done that, then yeah, you know in a heartbeat. But if you haven't, if you've never been introspective,
yeah,
those are the ones that are magically going to be jumping off buildings in a heartbeat. And then it'll be, oh no, we need more free shit so they don't have suicidal tendencies.
Oh no.
Oh no, cell phones are a human right. Oh no, what other things are we going to give away so the government pays for this? Like, this is how it works. It's not that hard to manipulate people. All you have to do is wait a generation. People forget really fast. Almost all of our World War II vets are dead now. When we were growing up, it was nothing but documentary. Constant reminders of the reality of life and how good we have it.
Yeah.
We don't see any of that now. They see a lot of war movies, see a lot of action movies. Hey, it's cool, it's Hollywood, ain't it? But that's not the same.
I do like Hollywood.
That doesn't,
movies.
like, sort of Saving Private Ryan and movies like that. Yeah. It doesn't drive the point home.
I think a really good movie, like war movie.
Trade. Fantastic movie nobody's ever heard of.
Trade.
I feel so weird recommending it because it is horrific and it is almost impossible to watch all the way through.
We might need to do an episode.
But it is so powerfully important for people who are raised in safe, protected areas to understand what we mean when we're talking about be concerned about sex trade, be concerned about being kidnapped, be concerned, pay attention to these things. Because you will see a very real, full example of what happens when you're raised in areas where even when you do your best, you don't have the choice. So again, we're missing all of those things. We're missing all those lessons. People like Mr. Rogers were the ones who were allowing children to at least start the discussion. Did he do it perfectly? Of course not. Who can? We're human.
Yeah.
But he started the discussion.
Yeah.
And that, I'm never going to discredit him by saying, oh, what did he get wrong? I don't fucking know. But, yes, he fucking tried.
He did.
So, as they say, hey, might not be true, but we're talking about it. We're talking about it, aren't we?
We definitely are, man. So, Mr. Rogers never got to teach a lot of further lessons because he passed away in 2003. Just before the explosion of the internet, smartphones, and media, kids today face entirely different emotional landscapes. Cyberbullying, online misinformation, and constant sensory bombardment, which goes back to what I was saying earlier about when I grew up with Cyber Chase, Power Rangers, and all that other shit. And it's just different. It's a different time with different things.
Well, so I wonder if you've noticed this correlation now as an adult, as a Power Rangers child.
Oh boy.
Is there a correlation between the Power Rangers kids and the fucking Pokemon kids? Because I felt like Pokemon kids and Power Ranger kids were like the same fucking kids, but then the RuneScape kids were like distinctly different.
RuneScape was more
and like
more like
video RPG. You know what I mean? But Pokemon was also, again, GameCube, PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys were also GameCube kids.
Yep.
All of you. Every single one. None of you were Xbox.
Yeah.
Maybe Xbox One when they, transitioned, but none of you were the big clunky black thing with the green X on it.
I got into Xbox when it was the 360 age, but
did I tell you?
That was as fast as the 320.
I finally took the time to break apart my old Xbox
Oh boy.
to get at the hard drive to get my save game back.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2.
Uh-huh.
I got it. It's on my computer now.
The Xbox still worked.
It was just finally at one point, whatever thing inside that thing actually powers the digital output just wasn't working. Everything else on my original Xbox works for years and years. Dude, when I bought my house in O'Fallon, I still had my Xbox hooked up to that TV with a fucking adapter to another adapter to plug it into HDMI.
Jeez Louise, man. I mean, hey, good, you got it.
I don't know what the fuck. Oh, yeah, GameCube kids. So fuck you, GameCube kids. Look at you all. Just buying new shit and wasting money.
Hey, I might have spent my money, but I spent it on
Xbox for 20 years. Just to put a, I don't know, $20 game onto a $5,000 gaming PC.
That's a little much there, bud, but I guess that hurts.
You thought it was pure nostalgia? It definitely wasn't for the graphics because it looks like shit. And it's hard for me to look at without nostalgia lenses on. And the responsiveness isn't any better because the game's running as good as it can.
Oh my god, that brings me
But it still works perfectly. And like the shitty sniper mechanics where there's no aiming, there's no travel time, there's no drop, there's no nothing. To go from all of these games like Arma 3 with calculated individual bullet physics to suddenly just point, shoot, laser tag, I was like, oh, I'm really bad at this. Anyways, sorry. Nostalgia interruption there.
So
I had a
Rogers,
quick break in our nostalgia nook, as we call it here.
is that what we call that?
That's what I'm calling it now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Our nostalgia.
It'll be perfect for our YouTube shorts.
Oh boy.
It'll just be a playlist of nostalgia nook. Random fucking tangents we come up with.
We go on a few of those, man. So Rogers,
Random tangents just to think about. Now, how many more times can I interrupt you right when you're trying to talk?
you do a really good job.
I'm on point today, man. I'm on fire.
So Rogers' methods might need adaptation to tackle digital literacy and online emotional resilience. He wasn't able to explore the intersection of child psychology with neuroscience in depth. Today, brain scans with cognitive research could have enriched his messaging about how feelings developed, how empathy grows in the early years. Imagine a Fred Rogers episode explaining mirror neurons or neuroplasticity with puppets and song. I don't know
how you do that. Neuroplasticity is a real weird one to try to simplify.
So Fred Rogers' biggest legacy is timeless, teaching kids to value themselves and others, to feel their feelings, and to communicate with care. He demonstrated that calm and empathy and attention are powerful tools for education, even in a world obsessed with flashy visuals. His approach has inspired generations of educators, psychologists, and children's media creators. Shows like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood directly build on his work, proving that the lessons of kindness and emotional literacy remain relevant. Even in modern culture, he's a meme, like you keep saying, and a symbol, a shorthand for emotional intelligence, patience, and thoughtfulness. Unlike more performance educators, Rogers' impact is less about spectacle and more about lasting psychology influence. So my closing thoughts on him are Fred Rogers shows influence isn't always loud or flashy. Sometimes it's a quiet voice, a song, and an invitation to explore feelings safely. While some aspects of his show may feel outdated or limited today, the core lessons endure. Kindness, empathy, and the affirmation that every child is special. In a world of fast media, that idea alone, the idea that a slow, deliberate, and caring education works, is a radical reminder. Rogers' legacy isn't about perfection, it's about connection, trust, and emotional literacy. Trying to introduce children into, hey, it's okay to feel things, and it's okay to know what you're feeling and to know what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. That's the lesson that still rules even decades later.
I think you said something that subtly just hit it on the head. The subtle little shift that we need to make as a culture.
Which is?
You just said every child is special. Well, that should be, instead, it's that every child has the capability to be special. Every single person does, especially children. That's why they should be protected. A child is untapped, unlimited possibilities and potential. So their potential is special. But every child, you're dumb. Trust me, I'm dumb. I'm not older than you. I'm pretty fucking dumb. You're just dumb. There ain't a whole lot special about you. But you're absolutely precious. And that's one thing Mr. Rogers had down better than anybody else.
I'd agree with that, buddy.
And that's all for this week on Some Topic, the show where logic is seasonal, facts are optional, and the raccoons are 2 paychecks behind. If you're a liberal, please keep your critiques to yourself. Our unpaid interns have adopted a shoot first, shred later policy, and we're in a stand your ground state after all. HR has yet to get back to us with a solution, so stand by. To the rest of you, keep your coffee black, your sarcasm sharp, and your reality on airplane mode. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay caffeinated, and stay just interested enough to keep the surveillance squirrels guessing while we slip out the back.